Maid didn't come in today. I don't know what it is. My next guest is, how would I say that she fits in this evening? She's probably lovelier than Dean Jones, because she's a lady. She's softer than Muhammad Ali. Hope Norman Mailer doesn't think I'm introducing him. She's a very unusual lady. Her name is Madeline Kahn. She's a remarkable actress with a brilliant voice and a peculiar head. This is as bad an introduction as I've ever given anyone, but will you welcome, please, Madeline Kahn, a fascinating lady. That was quite an unusual introduction to give.
Kill your head. They say that my head and my body don't operate.
No.
Wait a minute.
I think it's preposterous.
Head and body don't go together. This sounds very familiar.
Helen Gurley Brown.
Yeah, you saw that.
Yes,
Very
I saw that.
offensive.
I still haven't figured that out.
Don't even. It just.
Don't worry about it.
It's preposterous.
Have you ever had amnesia, Madeline?
I have. I think everyone has moments of aphasia. You know what that is? I don't, but it's.
Aphasia is something about you can't understand what's being said to you or something?
Well, something doesn't work. Your ability to find the right words, any words, and that type of thing. Of course, when it happens all the time, you're in a phasic, but it can happen at moments to anyone, I think. Or for minutes or just moments in your life. But no. I go through that. That's normal.
You do? What would it be like? Can you illustrate it if you're in the middle of a sentence and...
Well, it's using the wrong word instead of the right muffin. You see, it just doesn't make sense.
I see.
Yeah, like that.
Were you illustrating it or having it happen to you?
No, I did it on purpose.
Oh, you did do it on purpose, yeah.
Yeah, I used to be a speech therapist, and so that's how I know about that.
Yeah.
It's funny to be here, Dick.
Isn't it?
No, I feel a little odd these days coming on, and whereas it used to feel perfectly fine to come on a program like this and be sort of weird and playful, a plaything, an entertaining type thing.
A party doll.
Yes, like of one sort or another, the neurotic one or whatever.
Yeah.
It feels different now than it used to. I mean, events in the world have, for instance, reached my sensibilities and I'm the last type of person to be reached by events. I don't ever think they really pertain to my life. I notice them and I think they're awful, but I don't see how they really will interfere with my life. Well, I'm one of those people who has noticed that they do interfere and that there is something to be done and all. So
this may be one of your last frivolous appearances?
No, the nature, yeah. No, I think
that thing is happening.
You feel, I feel like the thing, I want to be part of a movement of some kind. I always did, really, and I never really liked the image of woman as being a plaything. I always found it offensive. The image that Cosmopolitan presents of the woman, for instance, I always thought was offensive.
Did you?
Yeah. So I never liked it, but now I really feel like becoming part of something useful, but I really don't think I can.
Is there a place for you in women's liberation?
I really, the thing is that I have been thinking of some of those basic tenets for a long time, but I have the feeling that if I went down to a group, I wouldn't fit in. I never have, in my other attempts earlier in life, never worked out. For instance, when I was in college, when I was first beginning college, the thing then was to be, I think, a beatnik, I think is what they used to call it. There were these girls who dressed all in black and had long, straight brown hair, which they clipped back in a beret. They had white lipstick. The whole effect was sort of very serious and sort of like a cadaver. And they were very quiet, and you got the impression, as I certainly did, that they were quiet because they were so intelligent. There was just nothing to say unless it was a gem, And I was sure that this was true. So, I was aware of my intelligence and all of that, but I always felt so the opposite of them. I tried so to fit in, but I didn't look like they did, and they just rejected me. I mean, everything about me that didn't go along with the way they looked seemed to grow when I was in their presence. You know, I mean, my hair would just curl, and my lips would turn red, and my voice would get higher, and in discomfort, because I was so afraid that I'd be rejected by them, and of course I was. You know, there was no way I could be included in that group, where I really was in accord with them mentally, but my packaging was so, it just was the wrong packaging. Thank you. I'm
Yes.
so glad you understand that. Well, the point that I know now, looking back on it, is that one of them or two or whatever did open a mouth at one time and did say something, and it was pretty dumb. You know, it was dull. And then I figured, gee, the reason they're keeping their mouth shut so much is because they don't have anything to say. You know, they were quite dull, most of them. Some of them weren't, some of them were. It was just that they were in the right, they had the look, and the whole thing was right. So they were in the intelligentsia. Now,
Do you have any idea what the question was?
see how one thing leads? Oh, I would imagine.
But Madeline was telling us earlier, if you just joined us, I don't really think I could summarize it, but
Well,
could you bring us up to date a little bit before?
you can, basically, what I was saying is that one can grasp the basic essentials of a movement, and yet if they don't adopt the trappings, you know, the style of it, they're out. They're really out. Now, I, for instance, have always felt very uncomfortable in the very restricted fashion world, the image of Vogue and Bazaar, and because you know, that's what the look is, and that's what's pretty, and if you must work to fit into it, hair teasing, bleaching, packing the body in, and you know, you really have to put forth an effort to fit in, which I always found gave me a headache. Always gave me a headache. And so I was so pleased when whatever you want to call it, the hippie or whatever type movement started to take place, where the essentials of it were that dress the way you want to, don't do, in fact, let your hair grow, let it all grow, don't shave, don't do anything, which, I mean, the thought behind that is terrific. In other words, it doesn't matter what you look like. It's sort of Christian. I mean, it's one of a terrific, you know, really Christian. In other words, that everyone is, you don't have to be anything that you're not, and that you're all God's children. It's terrific. Well, I couldn't wait to get down to one of those little stores to buy some dungarees. You know, because I thought, oh, this is it. These are going to be the people. No more will I go into a store and encounter this glum woman, staunch, behind a counter who says to me, oh, no, dear, that's not for you. This is for you. And then you buy it. I won't encounter that. I'll encounter I'll be receptive, an expansive, a largeness, a view, and you know. So I go into something. What difference does it make which one? And okay,
None at
so
all.
there. You know what I'm talking about? A store, a boutique type place.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so you don't encounter glum ladies positioned behind a counter in a dress.
Not at
I mean,
all.
so they're hanging from the corners in dungarees, but they're still glum. There's that stare, like, and if you don't seem to be the type of person that fits into those trappings, forget it. I mean, I walked into one place and I just felt like Margaret Truman in there. You know, everything about, and I really grasped the essentials of it. You know, I'm in full accord with what's behind it, but everything about me that, you know, didn't fit in, became worse in there. I felt that I was growing and becoming round and like unhip. Everything was, my hair was curling up, and you know what I mean? And do you have one
I
of
ever
those?
not?
No, which is certainly a nice thing. And do you have any of those little T-shirts that they always wear? You know, I mean, it was, I just.
But now you feel that you have solved your packaging problem, as you called it earlier?
No, I think what it is that I probably don't fit into any group. I'll have to just do it on my own, which is lonely,
Good for
you know.
There you
It's
go.
more difficult, though.
Do your own thing. No,
Yes,
it's easier
all of it.
if you ever give in to it. Don't you think so, Dick?
What's that? What's that?
It's easier to become part of a group, because then you can fiercely represent your group, you know, and all, and be courageous and fierce. But when you don't feel that you fit into anything and you just accept your own mind, it's more difficult. It's more difficult. Don't you?
I expect
The
you're right about
loneliness
that, yeah.
Of it.
Have you ever felt like a second-class citizen because you were a woman?
I never looked at it in quite that way, but I have always been very conscious of being a plaything, an object, a utensil, and a man
That's
looking
what
at me.
a lot of the women's lib ladies are objecting to. of
Yes,
course,
I have always objected to that. And I just have been the way I've been because I can't be any other way, you know, in my relations with men and all. And there's no, I have to be totally honest because I just can't be any other way. And
I think you are. If you're not totally honest, I don't know how anyone would know. I mean, there's a tone that you have when you're talking that just seems like
Put on.
you, and it couldn't be that you were acting or anything. It's just what you are. If you lie, do you sound very different from?
I don't lie too much, but most people think I'm always lying.
Oh, they take
And you
the
don't, which is
opposite
why I'm
view of
so
you.
comfortable here with you. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
they do. They think I'm always putting on, and a lot of people that I meet who have seen me on television and what say, "Oh, you're just like you are," you know, or something like that.
What a surprising thing to be what you are. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've always objected to the image of woman as presented by media.
Yeah.
Someone whose loins are constantly on fire, you know, looking for...
Oh,
I mean, you know what I'm talking about?
yes.
I mean, this just isn't true.
I wish we had more time to discuss blazing loins, but we can't because my two friends will have to get to the theater, don't
And
you?
I'm exhausted. I want to tell you. I'm too tired to do the show
Following
tonight.
a sentence like that can get you that way.
Yeah, it's
Are you two
emotionally drained.
Now, will you explain to the folks at home that I'm not giving you the heave-ho that you both do have to go
No,
to the
ladies
theater?
and gentlemen, Dick Cavett is throwing us both out. Good night.
Good night. No one's left. I start all over again in a moment with Muhammad Ali, and Norman Mailer will be here, so stay where you are. We'll be back after this.